let's begin with this session. So today we are going to discuss the weekly current affairs related to the Indian economy that took place in the past 1 week. Okay, so let's move on with that. And before that, today is 22 August and it is the birth year anniversary of Pingali Venkaiah ji, who designed our national flag. And it is important because we are already undertaking the campaign Har Ghar Tiranga, and 15 August is also coming, so it might be important from the prelims point of view. All right. So today we are going to discuss FDI, that is foreign direct investment, Pratyaksh Videshi Nivesh. After that we will be discussing index of core industries. Ki what is index of core industries? How is it different from index of industrial production? Then we will be seeing the employment scenario in India, यानी कि हम रोजगार परिदृश्य को देखने वाले हैं भारत में. And then we will be seeing some news, miscellaneous news in short form. Okay, so let's begin. So the very first news is related to FDI, that is foreign direct investment. Now foreign direct investment is very much important for the Indian economy. It is basically those companies, those multinational companies which are present in some other countries such as USA, Singapore, and they are investing their capital in India. Now, please put emphasis on my words. I'm saying that they put capital in India. So, when you are discussing about the balance of payment, and under that we have two accounts, current accounts and capital account. Current account यानी कि चालू खाता and capital account is पूंजी खाता. All right. So, you must have heard about BOP, and under that we have two accounts, current account and capital account. Okay. Now under this capital account we measure investments, we measure borrowings, and we measure multilateral investments or assistance. All right. And in this capital account we have investments, and these investments can be divided into two. First is foreign portfolio investment, यानी कि विदेशी अप्रत्यक्ष निवेश, and the second is foreign direct investment, यानी कि विदेशी प्रत्यक्ष निवेश. And this news is related to FDI, that is foreign direct investment. So now we know that it is a part of the capital account. The transaction that take place through FDI, they are part of capital account. Okay. Now let's see what the news is. As per the PIB, they have released some latest data related to FDI investments in India, which says that Singapore and USA are one of the first preferred sources. They are the most biggest sources of FDI in India, while they also discuss what are the destinations of FDI in India, and that we are going to see through data in this coverage. So we already discussed how Singapore and USA, they have emerged as the top two sourcing nations of FDI equity flows into India. That is कि यहाँ से इन दोनों देशों से FDI इंडिया में आ रहा है. ठीक है. Now that is important from the prelims point of view because they can ask you to arrange this in descending or ascending order as per the question. All right. And it may also be noted that as per the World Investment Report of 2022, it says that India has improved one position to 7th rank among the top 20 host economies for 2021. Host economies for what? Host economies for FDI, foreign direct investment. And who released this report, students? Can you type in the chat box? World Investment Report is released by which organization? Please type in the chat box which organization releases World Investment Report. Does anyone here know? No one wants to attempt it. At least try, no? Which organization released World Investment Report? Bittu is saying World Bank. What about others? Rohit is also saying World Bank. What about others? Try to attempt the questions, no? अगर attempt ही नहीं करेंगे तो फिर marks कैसे आएंगे? All right. So the World Investment Report is released by UNCTAD, okay, an organization that is related to development of trade across the world. Okay. Now let's move on. These were the sources of FDI in India. Now let's see what are the destination. Destination can be defined by two types. First, as per the states which are receiving FDI from outside India, and as per the sectors which are receiving FDI. So first let's see what are the sectors that are receiving FDI in India. So the top 5 sectors receiving FDI equity inflow during the previous financial year. The previous financial year are computer software and hardware. It is the top destination of FDI as per the sector classification. Then the second is services sector. Then services sector includes both financial as well as non-financial. Alright. So we have marked the two important destinations of FDI in India, and together they contributes to around 37% of FDI destination. Alright. And then it is followed by automobile sector, trading as well as construction and infrastructure activities. Now this was the classification as per the sector. Now let's see which states they are the top destination of FDI in India. Now the first is Karnataka and the second is Maharashtra. Now look at the percentages, the relative percentages. You can get the idea that more than 50% of the FDI equity inflow in India is attracted by these two states, Karnataka and Maharashtra. They are followed by Delhi, Tamil Nadu and then Haryana. Okay. So when you look at these percentages, one thought should come to your mind that why these two states are attracting most of the FDI in India. Why not other states like Himachal Pradesh, like Uttar Pradesh? So we can quote this data in our answers related to federalism, center-state relation, state-state relation and the role of states in Indian economy. Alright. Now, also one important thing to see here is that the FDI in manufacturing sector, it increased by 76% in the previous financial year. It is an important thing to note here. Alright. Okay. So what are the efforts of the government that are leading to such an increase in the FDI in India? So these efforts of government includes liberalization. Liberalization means they are easing up the restrictions that contributes to restricting the FDI inflows into India. Okay, such as the FEMA Act, such as FERA Act. Okay, so these are being liberalized and more sectors are being opened up to automatic route of the FDI reception in India. Alright. There are two routes of FDI in India. First is automatic route and the second is the government route where permission by the government is required, and an automatic route, it is much more liberalized manner to receive FDI from outside. Alright. So these are some of the steps: eliminate regulatory barriers, nurturing international relations and improving business environment. Improving business environment means they are promoting ease of doing business in India. Promoting ease of doing business by what? Such as ease in starting a business, ease in registering property, ease in closing down a business. So all these things are being improved. Okay, the online interfaces are being created, such as the Goods and Services Trade Network, GSTN. It is an online network where you can pay your taxes and provide your compliances with the government. Alright. So the ease of doing business is being improved. That is why FDI is also increasing. Now, what are the initiatives of the government? Again, initiatives of the government includes that the government has amended FEMA, FEMA यानी कि Foreign Exchange Management Act, and allowed up to 20% of the FDI in the insurance sector. Now other sectors were also liberalized in such a manner also, such as telecom sector, automobile sector and likewise. Other efforts taken by the government is PM Gati Shakti. What is PM Gati Shakti? Does anyone of you know? Can you type in the chat box what is PM Gati Shakti program? Do participate in the class. What is PM Gati Shakti? What is PM Gati Shakti? It is related to the infrastructure development in India. To make the infrastructure development in India more comprehensive and holistic by bringing together different agencies, so that they can coordinate with each other in development of infrastructure in India. Good. Logistics development plan. Okay. PM Gati Shakti is also related to this only, logistics as well as infrastructure development in India. Alright. The government is likely to introduce at least 3 policies as part of the, as part of the Space Activity Bill. Now, Space Activity Bill is also being in process, so that the space sector can be opened up to foreign investments also. Now, similarly, in September 2021, India and UK agreed for an investment boost to strengthen the trade between them, to strengthen the capital flows between these two countries. And then the Union Cabinet announced to boost the telecom sector by allowing 100% FDI via automatic route. Okay, these percentages of FDI is somewhat also important, as they can come in the prelims questions. Okay, the government amended the FEMA Act in 2019 to allow the 74% increase in the FDI limit in the insurance sector. Alright, that's 20% that we were talking about was in the LIC, and that was done just before the IPO of LIC was launched. Alright, and this is related to the insurance sector. So, these are some of the efforts by the government. Now, let's attempt some questions related to the FDI. Which of the following constitute capital account, foreign loans, foreign direct investment, private remittances or portfolio investment? Now, try to attempt this question. कैपिटल अकाउंट यानी कि पूंजी खाता, इसमें कौन कौन से कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स हैं? इज फॉरेन लोन्स पार्ट ऑफ कैपिटल अकाउंट? इज फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट पार्ट ऑफ कैपिटल अकाउंट? ट्राई टू अटेम्प्ट दिस क्वेश्चन. Shreya is saying B. B is 1, 2 and 4. So you are ruling out private remittances. What about others? Anju is saying B, Rohit is saying B. So yes, you are saying that the answer to this question is B, yani ki 1, 2 and 4. What is the difference between current account and capital account? Current account is related to the normal transactions, okay, related to exports and imports of a country. While capital account, they are related to changes in the assets and liabilities of the country. Assets and liabilities पर ध्यान जाता है जब हम capital account की बात कर रहे होते हैं. तो loans, they affect the assets and liabilities of a country. Yes, they do. Foreign direct investment, they bring in capital, so they also affect the assets and liabilities, so they are also part of capital account. And similarly, portfolio investment, they also affect the assets and liabilities. While private remittances, they are part of transfer payments, and hence they fall under the ambit of current account only, and that is why the answer to this question is B. Now, the next question. Global capital flows to developing countries increased significantly during the 90s in the view of East Asian financial crisis and Latin American experience. Which type of inflow is good for the host country? Now, try to attempt this question. Which type of inflow is good for the host country? Commercial loans, foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment or external commercial borrowing? Please try to attempt this question. And there's a question, sir, I am too much confused about the class 11 microeconomics. Should I read it too? See, regarding the microeconomics of class 11th, you have to understand the basic concepts that are related to supply and demand, laws of supply and demand, because they are necessary to build the basic foundation of what you are going to study further. For example, if we are talking about the FPI outflows or we are talking about weakening of dollars, then we can relate those concepts to the supply and demand of dollars or rupee. And hence you have to study the basics of microeconomics. You don't have to go much deeper into it, although. Alright. Kanu is saying B, Shreya is saying B, Akshaya is saying B, Rohit is also saying B. So foreign direct investment, they are a good type of inflow. Why foreign direct investment are a good type of inflow? Because they are more permanent. They are more permanent. While foreign portfolio investment, as we saw in some previous week's video, that foreign portfolio investment, they can be easily taken out of a country because they are small investment in various equities as well as debt portfolios. So they can be taken out by the investors. Okay, but foreign direct investment, they are much more permanent. They are much more physically present. Foreign direct investment not only brings in capital, they also bring in the knowledge. They also bring is knowledge. They also bring in technical expertise. All right. So they are much more beneficial than the foreign portfolio investment or otherwise. Now, if you have interest in economies, then you should read about the East Asian financial crisis and how outflows of capital from the East Asian countries around 1998, they caused a crisis in those countries. You should read about it. It is somewhat similar to the 2008 financial crisis, although 2008 financial crisis was much more disastrous than this. All right. So let's move to the next question. Answer to this question is B. So the next question is, which of the following would include foreign direct investment in India? Subsidiaries of foreign companies in India, majority foreign equity holding in Indian company, companies exclusively financed by the foreign companies, and portfolio investment. Portfolio investment. We already saw that portfolio investment is different from foreign direct investment. Now try to attempt this question, please. The basic definition of foreign direct investment is that more than 10% in listed companies, investment to the tune of more than 10% in the listed companies constitutes the foreign direct investment, while less than 10% in the listed companies, they constitute foreign portfolio investment. And any investment in the unlisted company, any investment in the unlisted company, they constitute foreign direct investment only. All right. So, which of the following would include foreign direct investments in India? Try to answer this question. So, we can eliminate the fourth statement. We can eliminate the fourth statement easily because it talks about portfolio investment. So, these two options, for this statement, yeah. So, these two options can be eliminated. All right. Now, we are left with these two. Portfolio investment is not foreign direct investment. It is foreign portfolio investment. Now, we are left with these two options, 1 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3. Now, we have to see whether second statement is correct or not. That will decide whether our answer is going to be correct or not. So, majority foreign equity holding in Indian companies, majority foreign equity holding in Indian companies, it is a part of foreign direct investment only. If they are holding a majority equity, meaning they have majority of the shares of an Indian company, that means it is a part of foreign direct investment, and hence the answer here should be D. All right. Now, next question. I want you all to answer this question, please. With reference to foreign direct investment in India, which of the following is considered as its major characteristic? What is the major characteristic of FDI? It is the investment through capital instruments, essentially in a listed company. No, it can also be in an unlisted company, The second is, it is largely non-debt creating capital flow. The third is, it is the investment which involves debt servicing. Debt servicing means you have to pay back interest as well as principal amount to the creditor. So, this is what debt servicing is. Now, it is the investment made by foreign institutional investors in the government securities. क्या होगा इसमें से, क्या आंसर होगा? What is the answer here? Shreya is saying B. What about others? Hurry up. Try to answer this question as soon as possible. What is the answer of this question? It is a previous year question from 2020. Rohit is saying B, Bittu is saying C. What about others? Hurry up. Tanisha is saying B. Alright. So the answer to this question is B only. That is, it is non-debt creating capital flow. It is an investment. It is an investment in equities of a company. They are trying to control the company. They are trying to own the company. Alright. So this is not related to debt, and hence it is a debt free, non-debt creating capital flow. This is what FDI is. Alright. So we have discussed FDI. Now let's move to the index of core industries. What is index of core industries? We are going to see now. See, the economy of a country, that depends on the industries as well as the services sector, also the agriculture sector. But let's focus on the industrial sector now. Now, when there is an industrial sector, it constitutes different industries, such as fertilizers, such as cement production, such as electricity, and such as refinery production, refinery products. So these different industries, they form part of the industrial sector in India. Now we have to evolve a very good key indicator so that we can know how much good or bad these sectors are performing. All right. So through this industrial production index, we can find out whether the these sectors are provide. एक मिनट. I beg your pardon. So yeah, through this index we can find out whether the production, whether the economy activity done by these sectors are good or bad. Okay, so this is why index of industrial production is important for our economy. Now we are talking about core sector output. Under the index of industrial production, there are 8 core sectors. Okay, and these 8 core sectors include cement, fertilizers, electricity, refinery products, etc. So these 8 core sectors, they form around 40% of the weightage of the IIP or index of industrial production. So the news related to this is that in June there has been an expansion of 12.7% for these 8 core sectors. There is an expansion of 12.7% in these 8 core sectors, and this is because of index of core sectors. Okay, this is released by a different organization. IIP, it is released by National Statistical Organization, NSO, under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, that is MOSPI. While the index of 8 core industries, that is ICI, as we can see by the notification here, it is released by DPIIT, यानी कि Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Office of the Economic Advisor of India. तो इससे हमें ये पता चलता है सबसे पहली बात कि IIP is released by a different organization, while this index of core industries ICI, it is released by a different one. तो ये डिफरेंस पता लगाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड व्हाई इज दैट इंपॉर्टेंट? बिकॉज आईआईपी में यानी कि इंडेक्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन में भी 8 कोर सेक्टर्स का अलग से दिया जाता है. 8 कोर सेक्टर्स आर ऑल्सो प्रेजेंट अंडर आईआईपी. ओके, सो यू शुड नॉट बी कंफ्यूज्ड. ऐसा ना हो कि आप देखो कि इंडेक्स ऑफ 8 कोर इंडस्ट्रीज अगर आईआईपी में भी प्रेजेंट है तो आपको लगे कि ये एनएसओ रिलीज करता है. नहीं, ये डीपीआईआईटी रिलीज करता है, ऑफिस ऑफ द इकोनॉमिक एडवाइजर. सबसे पहली चीज तो ये जानने वाली है. ऑलराइट, नाउ लेट्स नो मोर अबाउट दिस. सो व्हाट इज आईआईपी? It is a comprehensive index. It is a comprehensive index that reflects the economic activity of industrial sector in India. The base year of this IIP is 2011. All right, and it is released on a monthly basis with a 6 weeks gap. मंथली बेसिस पर आईआईपी रिलीज होता है, मंथली बेसिस पे आईआईपी रिलीज होता है with a 6 weeks gap. Alright, this is what IIP is. And which organization releases it? It is NSO, यानी कि National Statistical Office. और इसके अंदर 8 सेक्टर्स होते हैं जो कोर सेक्टर बनाते हैं, जिनका वेटेज होता है 40% आईआईपी के अंडर. नाउ लेट्स सी व्हाट दीज 8 कोर सेक्टर्स आर. These 8 core sectors are given here. It includes coal, crude oil, natural gas, refinery products, fertilizers, steel, cement and electricity. Now यहाँ पर क्या देखने वाली बात है? What is important to see here is their relative weightages. You have to remember in descending order. So their relative weightages can be seen by refinery products, electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement and fertilizers. All right, तो ये है इनकी relative weightages that you have to remember. All right, तो ये तो हो गया आपके इंडेक्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन. और इंडेक्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन में आपको एक इस तरह की टेबल देखने को मिलेगी. यू विल गेट टू सी अ टेबल लाइक दिस इन विच द सेक्टर्स आर डिवाइडेड इनटू 3: mining, manufacturing and electricity. Now here manufacturing has the highest weightage, followed by mining and followed by electricity. And use based categories are also there, such as primary goods, capital goods, intermediate goods, infrastructure and construction goods, consumer durables and consumer non durables. You don't have to remember this, but do remember this. What are the sectors under the index of industrial production? They are manufacturing, mining and electricity. All right, so this is what IIP table looks like. Now let's try to attempt this question related to index of 8 core industries. In India, the overall index of industrial production, the indices of 8 core industries have a combined weight of 37.9%. Now it has been changed because this question was in the 2012 prelims. After that, some changes in the weightages as well as the base year of IIP has been done. So ignore this figure here. Ignore this figure here. Just tell me which of the following are among those 8 core industries. Is it cement, fertilizers, natural gas, refinery products and textiles? What would be the answer of this question? We just saw this. We just learned this concept. Try to attempt this, please. It is from the 2012 prelims. Shreya is saying C. What about others? Try to attempt this question, please. Rohit is also saying C. What about others? Cement, fertilizers, natural gas and refinery products. They form part of the 8 core industries, but we already saw that textiles, they are not part of the core sector, and hence we can safely say that the answer to this question will be C. All right, this is from the 2012 prelims. सर हिंदी मीडियम नहीं चलेगा क्या? Okay, I'll try to use both languages now. In the index of 8 core industries, which of the following has the highest weightage? हमने ये भी देखा है अभी कि 8 core sector में ascending और descending order में कैसे industries हैं. So, इन चारों में से among these 4, which one of the following has the highest weightage? Which one of the following has highest weightage? Now try to attempt this question. Kanu is saying B, Shreya B, Akshaya B, Bittu B, Rohit B. तो हमने देखा कि इसमें इन चारों में से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन की वेटेज सबसे ज्यादा हाई है इंडेक्स ऑफ 8 कोर इंडस्ट्रीज में. दिस क्वेश्चन केम इन 2015 prelims and hence we are discussing this index. All right, so the answer to this question is B. So far we have discussed foreign direct investment and index of core industries. Now let's see the employment scenario in India, यानी कि रोजगार के परिदृश्य को देखते हैं भारत में क्या है. That is related to the news. There was an article in Indian Express newspaper that there is a unique job crisis going on in India. We are going to see that. We are also going to understand the basics of employment, unemployment scenario in India. What are their definitions? What are their basics? We are going to see here. All right. So, first we are going to see some basic key indicators of measuring employment and unemployment in India. Unemployment is employment and unemployment in India is basically measured by periodic labor force survey, which is released by NSO, again National Statistical Organization under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. तो सबसे पहले तो ये कि ये हम measure करते हैं periodic labor force survey के through PLFS. It is released by which organization? NSO. तो अगर हमें कोई भी चीज मेजर करनी है तो उसके कुछ इंडिकेटर्स हमें बनाने पड़ेंगे कि हम अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट मेजर करने वाले हैं, फिर हम ये भी मेजर करेंगे कि वर्कर टू पॉपुलेशन रेशियो क्या रहेगा, हम ये भी देखेंगे कि लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट कितना रहेगा। बट इन तीनों को देखने के लिए हमें पहले ये समझना पड़ेगा कि लेबर फोर्स होती क्या है। वी हैव टू फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट इज लेबर फोर्स। सर हिंदी में नहीं, सर केवल इंग्लिश मीडियम चलता है। ओके, सो फर्स्ट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज लेबर फोर्स। व्हाट इज लेबर फोर्स? ओके, तो अब इसे देखते हैं। सी, वी विल बी सीइंग दिस थ्रू अ वेन डायग्राम। मान लो ये आउटर सर्कल रिप्रेजेंट करता है इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन को। This outer circle is representing the population of India. Now this inner circle, it represents the working age population in India. Working age population यानी कि the population that is aged above 15 years of age. मतलब ये 15 भी हो सकता है, 16 भी हो सकता है, it depends on the organization which is measuring. Sir, मेरा medium हिंदी है. So that's okay, Satyendra. We will be seeing this through in a bilingual medium also. Okay. So, this is the population of India. This is the working age population of India. The age is defined by the organization which is measuring the key indicators. Alright, this is just the concept. Now, let's see, this working age population can be divided into three parts. The first part here is the people who are employed. The first part here, they represent the people who are employed. The second part here, it represents people who are not employed but they want to work. They are actively looking for work or they are willing to work. तो ये हो गया आपका second. Those who are actively looking for work. Actively looking for work. और थर्ड कैटेगरी हो गई those who are not working and are not looking for work either. कि यानी कि ये वो लोग हैं जो ना ही काम कर रहे हैं और ना ही चाह रहे हैं कि हमें किसी में जॉब करनी है या फिर काम करना है। सो नॉट एक्टिवली लुकिंग। इस तरीके से हमने तीन में डिवाइड कर दिया। अब हम देखेंगे कि कैसे कैसे तीन इंडिकेटर्स इस क्लासिफिकेशन से निकल कर आएंगे। ऑलराइट, सो इफ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, या वन मोर थिंग टू नोट हियर इज दैट these two parts, यानी कि part 1 and part 2, they form part of the labor force. 1 plus 2 here is labor force. All right, this is the labor force in India or in any country around the world. अब हमने ये क्लासिफिकेशन कर लिया कि हम तीन लोगों में डिवाइड कर रहे हैं वर्किंग एज पॉपुलेशन को। पहली एम्प्लॉयड, those who are currently working. Second, not employed but are actively seeking work. And third is not working and are not actively seeking work. Okay, so ये तीन कैटेगरीज हो गई। अब देखते हैं कि इससे तीन की इंडिकेटर्स कैसे निकल कर आएंगे। So the unemployment rate is the percentage of population persons unemployed among the persons in the labor force. हमने labor force देखा था, क्या था? We saw what is labor force. So labor force is basically 1 plus 2, that is those who are working एंड दोज हु आर नॉट वर्किंग बट लुकिंग फॉर वर्क। तो ये लेबर फोर्स आ गया आपका डिनोमिनेटर में, एंड परसेंटेज ऑफ पर्सन्स अनएम्प्लॉयड यानी कि सेकंड कैटेगरी it comes up in the numerator, and this is the formula for calculating unemployment rate. ओके ये चीज समझ में आई आपको? तो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट हमने देख लिया कैसे मेजर करना है। नाउ लेट्स सी वर्किंग पॉपुलेशन रेशियो, WPR कैसे मेजर करेंगे। लेट्स सी हाउ टू मेजर WPR. It is defined as the percentage of employed persons in the population. यानी कि एम्प्लॉयड पर्सन कौन है, कैटेगरी 1 है या कैटेगरी 2 है? प्लीज टाइप इन हियर इन द चैट बॉक्स कि एम्प्लॉयड पर्सन कैसे बताया था मैंने, कैटेगरी 1 और कैटेगरी 2? कैटेगरी 1। ऑलराइट, सो कैटेगरी 1, तो न्यूमरेटर में क्या आएगा? व्हाट वुड कम ऑन द न्यूमरेटर? इट इज द category 1 and as a percentage of population. So population या तो आप entire population ले लो या फिर working age population ले लो, depends on the organization, again depends on the index that you are creating, but here I will be taking 1 plus 2 plus 3, that is the entire working age population. All right, तो ये हो गया आपका working population ratio, worker population ratio. Now the next indicator is लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट यानी कि LFPR. इट इज द परसेंटेज ऑफ पर्सन्स इन द लेबर फोर्स वर्किंग और सीकिंग, एंड इट इज द प्रोपोर्शन टू द पॉपुलेशन. पॉपुलेशन अगेन इसको हम पॉपुलेशन वर्किंग एज पॉपुलेशन अगर ले रहे हैं तो 1 + 2 + 3. ओके, एंड न्यूमरेटर में क्या आएगा? न्यूमरेटर में व्हाट वुड कम अप इन द न्यूमरेटर? प्लीज टेल मी इन द चैट बॉक्स व्हाट वुड कम अप इन द न्यूमरेटर. Type in the chat box please, what would come up in the numerator? 1 + 2, very good. Japjeet Kaur, 1 + 2, Shreya is also saying 1 + 2 because 1 + 2 they form the labor force in the employment scenario. तो ये हो गया आपका labor force participation rate. All right. Now these key indicators are released by NSO through periodic labor force survey. Every year they are released by them, and it is the latest data that you can use in your answers, as well as you can use this data in the essays also, that such and such is the labor scenario in India. All right, so it was released in June 2022, and it has been taken up by the it has been taken up from the PIB site, Press Information Bureau. Now interesting things to note here are LFPR. LFPR we are going to see for rural plus urban. So LFPR for male is 57.5 while it is 25.1% for female. तो अब सबसे जो एक बर्निंग इशू होता है कि फीमेल लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन इन इंडिया इज वेरी लेस. तो ये उससे रिलेटेड है कि मेल का तो 57.5% है बट फीमेल का 25.1% है. दैट मीन्स दैट रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ वीमेन इन द एम्प्लॉयमेंट इज वेरी लो इन इंडिया, जो कि हमें इंक्रीज करने की जरूरत है, एंड दैट वी कैन डायरेक्टली सी थ्रू दिस डेटा. ऑलराइट, नाउ वर्किंग वर्कर टू पॉपुलेशन रेशियो इज 39.8% for both male and female, while the unemployment rate is 4.2% as per this latest data. Unemployment rate is 4.2% as per this latest data. All right, अभी तक हम समझ रहे हैं क्या? And also contrast this that rural area में unemployment rate is 3.3 while in urban area is 6.7. तो एक इशू हमने देखा क्या, फीमेल लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन रेट का. दूसरा इशू भी आप यहां से निकाल सकते हैं कि रूरल एरिया में तो 3.3 है अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट एंड अर्बन एरिया में 6.7% है. नाउ बच्चों टेल मी इन द चैट बॉक्स वेदर एमजी नरेगा स्कीम इज इट एप्लीकेबल इन रूरल एरियाज और अर्बन एरियाज और बोथ? कौन से एरिया में एप्लीकेबल है एमजी नरेगा स्कीम? प्लीज टेल मी इन द चैट बॉक्स. Shreya is saying rural, Kanu is saying both, Bittu is saying rural. Kanu, look at the full form of MG Narega scheme. What is the full form of MG Narega? Please type in the chat box. Is it National Rural Employment Generation? So it is applicable for rural areas. Okay. So rural area में तो 3.3 है हमारा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट एंड अर्बन एरिया में ज्यादा है. तो एक आप रिकमेंडेशन अपने आंसर्स में ये दे सकते हो कि अर्बन एरिया के अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट को भी हमें एड्रेस करने की जरूरत है. उसको सपोर्ट करने के लिए आप ये डेटा दे सकते हो. एक बर्निंग इशू हमने इसमें से उठाया, इस डेटा में से क्या, फीमेल लेबर फोर्स पार्टिसिपेशन का, और दूसरा बर्निंग इशू हम जो उठाएंगे वो है अर्बन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. ऑलराइट, अर्बन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट का इशू हमें दिख रहा है इस लेटेस्ट डेटा से. ठीक है, चलिए ये तो हो गई डेफिनेशन. अब लास्ट वीक ओनली 5 days एगो गवर्नमेंट गेव अ रिप्लाई इन द राज्यसभा. अब अगर हम अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं तो वी हैव टू सी व्हाट इज द स्टैंड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑन दिस. व्हाट इज द स्टैंड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑन अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. कहीं हम बोल रहे हो कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट तो इंडिया में इंक्रीज होता जा रहा है, बट गवर्नमेंट का ये स्टैंड है ही नहीं, डेटा इस चीज को सपोर्ट ही नहीं करता. तो हमें एक फैक्चुअल चीजों को भी देखना पड़ेगा. तो गवर्नमेंट ने राज्यसभा में ये रिप्लाई दिया है कि साइटिंग द PLFS रिपोर्ट, दिस पेरियोडिक लेबर फोर्स सर्वे ओनली, दैट it is has given a written reply to the MP of Rajya Sabha that unemployment rate it has been decreasing over subsequent years. It was 5.8%, then 4.8%, and then 4.2% in the latest PLFS report. Okay, we just saw that it is 4.2%. So over the years, the PLFS report, as per PLFS report and this reply, it means that unemployment in India is decreasing. This is the government stand, and to back this stand you can cite various schemes of the government such as Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, PM Swanidhi scheme for collateral free loans for the working capital, to provide working capital to who? Street vendors. And then there is MG Narega scheme. You can also cite different self-employment programs such as National Rural Livelihood Mission here as well. ठीक है, तो इसमें आप different schemes कर सकते हैं. Due to the paucity of the time, we won't be discussing different schemes. Okay, so just write it down and search it on a different time. Now, this is the data related to that Indian Express article which says that what is the occupational structure change in India over different years. Now you can see here that the persons employed in agriculture, the people employed in agriculture, they have decreased over here. 47 से 44.8 पे आ गया है percentage employment in agriculture. But दूसरी चीज जो नोट करने वाली है कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में भी कम आया है. That the percentage of people employed in manufacturing, they have also decrease. Now जो एक स्ट्रक्चरल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होता है किसी भी इकोनॉमी में, एनी इकोनॉमी, दे हैव टू फेस अ स्ट्रक्चरल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन, कि पहले ज्यादा लोग एग्रीकल्चर में थे, उसके बाद वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में आए, एंड देन वो गए सर्विस सेक्टर में. बट यहां पे हमें कुछ यूनिक देखने को मिल रहा है, और वही तो यूनिक है इंडिया की जॉब क्राइसिस, कि एग्रीकल्चर में तो डिक्रीज हुए बट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में भी डिक्रीज हुए जो परसेंटेज है. तो इट्स अ पॉइंट टू बी नोटेड कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में भी और माइनिंग सेक्टर में भी डिक्रीज हुए. तो ये गए कहां पे, यहां पर आप देख सकते हैं कि कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर में गए, 10 से 12.4% हुआ. अब कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर में गए यानी कि इनफॉर्मलाइजेशन बढ़ा, यानी कि जो लोग दिहाड़ी पे काम करते हैं उनका तादाद बढ़ी. तो दिस इज नॉट अ गुड थिंग बिकॉज देयर इज लैक ऑफ सोशल सिक्योरिटी. ऑल्दो देयर आर सेवरल एक्ट such as Building Construction Workers Act and Unorganized Workers Social Security Act, but ये चीज देखने वाली है कि एग्रीकल्चर से निकलकर वो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में ना जाके कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर में गए और सर्विसेज सेक्टर में गए. ये 28.6% से 30.9% है. अब सर्विसेज सेक्टर भी काफी वेरी करता है. The services sector is also very wide. It includes jobs which are very high paying, such as computer programmers, data scientists, but it also includes jobs that are very low paying, such as street vendors. तो ये देखने की बात भी है कि वो इस लो पेइंग जॉब में गए हैं एग्रीकल्चर से, कॉज स्किल तो डेवलप हो नहीं पाई होगी इतनी जल्दी, तो इसका मतलब यही है कि वो लो पेइंग जॉब्स में गए हैं एग्रीकल्चर से और कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर में गए हैं. So this is the thing to be noted, which is unique in India's job crisis. Okay? Yes, labor laws they don't apply in the informal sector. All right? So ये चीज देखने वाली थी, and this is what this article was all about. This Indian Express article. Now let's attempt this question. Disguised unemployment generally means. What is the answer to this question? Try to attempt this, please. Try to attempt this. What would be the answer of this question? See, marginal productivity of labor is zero. Marginal productivity of labor is zero. It essentially means that if you remove one worker, मान लो कि बहुत सारे वर्कर हैं जो एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड में काम कर रहे हैं. ओके, मान लो ये सारे वर्कर्स काम कर रहे हैं एक एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड में, 9 वर्कर्स काम कर रहे हैं, और ये एग्रीकल्चरल फील्ड इट इज प्रोड्यूसिंग 2 क्विंटल्स ऑफ wheat. ऑल राइट. अब मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी ऑफ लेबर इज जीरो का मतलब है कि अगर हमने इस 9 को 8 भी कर दिया, मान लो इसको हमने फील्ड से बाहर निकाल दिया एंड अब 8 लोग काम कर रहे हैं, तो भी 2 क्विंटल ऑफ व्हीट प्रोड्यूस होगा, मीनिंग मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी ऑफ दिस लेबर वाज जीरो. तो वो एक तरीके से डेटा में तो एम्प्लॉयड दिख रहा है. जब पेरियोडिक लेबर फोर्स सर्वे होगा तो ही विल से दैट यस आई वाज एम्प्लॉयड फॉर दिस एंड दिस मेनी डेज इन द पास्ट 1 ईयर, जब सर्वे लेने आएंगे लोग, बट एक्चुअली में उसका मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी जीरो है कि अगर वो काम नहीं भी करेगा तब भी फील्ड उतना ही प्रोड्यूस करेगी. ओके, तो ये है डिस्गाइज्ड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, यानी कि ये छुपा हुआ अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है. छुपा किससे है? छुपा है ये सर्वे से. ये स्टैटिस्टिक्स में हमें नहीं दिखेगा, बट एक्चुअली में ये भी एक अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट है. ऑलराइट, ये बात समझ में आई? सो आंसर इसका होगा सी. अब हमने मेजर न्यूज देख ली है. वी हैव सीन द मेजर न्यूज रिलेटेड टू फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट, वी हैव सीन इंडेक्स ऑफ कोर इंडस्ट्रीज एंड वी हैव सीन एम्प्लॉयमेंट सिनेरियो. अब छोटी छोटी न्यूज जो बची हैं वो भी देख डालते हैं. पीएम मोदी लॉन्चेस इंडियाज फर्स्ट इंटरनेशनल बुलियन एक्सचेंज इन गांधीनगर एट द गिफ्ट सिटी. Okay, now do find out the full form of this gift as a homework. Government launches 11th agricultural census 2021-22 to use smartphones tablet for data collection. अब हमें ये नहीं देखना है, we have to see what is agricultural census. It is a census which is conducted every 5 years and it is conducted over the operational land holdings to give us various type of data such as the average size of land holdings, such as the ownership of land by women. तो ये अलग अलग हमें पॉइंटर्स मिलते हैं. और जो लास्ट 10th एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस था वो हमें 2018 के आसपास मिला था एंड इट वाज फॉर द ईयर 2015-16. ऑलराइट, 2015-16 में हमें 10th एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस मिला था. ऑलराइट, एंड उसका कुछ डेटा जो हमें याद रखने की जरूरत है, वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग दैट. टोटल ऑपरेटेड एरिया इन इंडिया इज 157. हमें इसकी जरूरत नहीं है, बट ऑपरेशनल लैंड होल्डिंग्स ये है इस एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस की उससे 146 मिलियन एंड दे हैव इंक्रीज्ड फ्रॉम 138 मिलियन विच वाज इन 9th एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस. ठीक है, तो 146 मिलियन है हमारी ऑपरेशनल लैंड होल्डिंग्स इन इंडिया. एवरेज साइज ऑफ ऑपरेशनल लैंड होल्डिंग ये इंपॉर्टेंट है जो आपको याद रखने की जरूरत है. इट हैज डिक्रीज्ड टू 1.08 हेक्टेयर्स. 1.08 हेक्टेयर्स यानी कि फार्म का साइज कम हुआ है. फार्म का जो साइज हुआ करता था वो कम हो गया. अब ये एवरेज साइज है 1.08 हेक्टेयर्स. शेयर ऑफ फीमेल ऑपरेशनल लैंड होल्डर्स ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये इंक्रीज हुई है स्टैटिस्टिक्स फ्रॉम अराउंड 12% टू 13.87%. एंड आप अपने आंसर्स में ये कोट कर सकते हैं कि देयर अराउंड 86% ऑफ द फार्मर्स इन इंडिया दे आर स्मॉल एंड मार्जिनल फार्मर्स, जिनके पास जो लैंड है वो 2 हेक्टेयर से भी कम है। तो ये 3 चीज आपको पिछले वाले एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस से याद रखने की क्या जरूरत है, क्योंकि 11th एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस का रिजल्ट आने में काफी टाइम लगेगा अभी। द रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस, 11th एग्रीकल्चरल सेंसस विल बी आउट आफ्टर सम टाइम, सो यू हैव टू रिमेंबर दिस key indicators from the 10th agricultural census. Okay. Other is several Indian origin persons charged in insider trading cases in United States. Insider trading क्या होती है? We'll be seeing that. Insider trading होती है जब किसी कंपनी के एम्प्लॉय या फिर सीईओ को कोई अनपब्लिश्ड इंफॉर्मेशन पता हो, या फिर ये किसी को, अपने रिलेटिव को, अपने फ्रेंड्स को कोई ऐसी अनपब्लिश्ड इंफॉर्मेशन बता दें, कोई ऐसी प्राइस सेंसिटिव डेटा बता दें जो अभी तक पब्लिक में नहीं आया। अनडिस्क्लोज्ड पब्लिक इंफॉर्मेशन जो है अगर किसी को पता चलती है एंड जिसके बाद वो अपने स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग करते हैं, तो वो होती है इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग, बिकॉज दे हैव अनड्यू डिसएडवांटेज ओवर अदर्स। फॉर एग्जांपल, सीईओ को पता है कि उसने एक प्रोडक्ट के पेटेंट के लिए अप्लाई किया था, मान लीजिए किसी न्यू ड्रग के पेटेंट के लिए अप्लाई किया था एंड वो उसका कैंसिल हो गया। नाउ नो वन नोज दिस एक्सेप्ट सीईओ। ही नोज व्हेन दिस न्यूज विल बी आउट इन पब्लिक, द प्राइसेस ऑफ द शेयर्स दे विल फॉल डाउन। सो व्हाट ही डज इज दैट ही सेल्स द शेयर बिफोर हैंड, कि ये न्यूज पहले बाहर आए, किसी पब्लिक को पता चले, उससे पहले ही उसने अपने शेयर बेच दिए। ओके, और फिर जब बाहर आई ये न्यूज तो सही में शेयर्स गिर गए। तो ये उसने इनसाइडर ट्रेडिंग करी, विच इज नॉट लीगल। All right, in some countries it may be, but in most countries it is not, and SEBI has relevant regulations. Security and Exchange Board of India, it has relevant regulations to regulate and prohibit insider trading in India. So this was news in short related to insider trading. Now please write down this, seize the mains question. According to recent data by Ministry of Home Affairs, over 3.9 lakh Indian gave up citizenship in past 3 years to settle abroad. What according to you are the reasons for increasing migration of people from India to other nations? So note down this question and try to attempt this. Put your answer on our website www.rajisacademy.com, and the solution of this question will be discussed tomorrow at 9 p.m. All right. And this is the free initiative from our institute, HPAS prelims test series, यानी कि हिमाचल प्रदेश एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सर्विसेज प्रीलिम्स टेस्ट सीरीज. I highly urge you all and encourage you all to join this test series and get benefit out of this. So with this we have reached the end of our session and I hope you had a great learning experience. I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you so much.